Queen Elizabeth II is 96 years old, and she has done a lot in her lifetime. Many things that normal people can only dream of. But there are still a few surprisingly normal things she's never experienced. 1. She never went to school. Queen Elizabeth II is an incredibly educated woman despite never being taught in a real-life classroom. She and her sister, Princess Margaret, were tutored privately by the country's best tutors that royalty could buy. She even studied constitutional history and law to prepare for her future role as queen. 2. She never took a driver's license test. Since driver's licenses are issued in Queen Elizabeth II's name, she can drive wherever and whenever she pleases without that little piece of plastic. Even as a princess, she didn't need to take the test because royals were chauffeured from place to place. But she learned how to drive during her time serving in World War II as a first aid truck driver. Her royal status exempted her from taking a driving test for that gig as well. 3. She's never really dated. Queen Elizabeth II met the love of her life, Prince Philip, at the young age of 13 at a wedding. He was only 18 at the time. It wasn't until the summer of 1939 that their romantic courtship took off. And by 1947 they were engaged. And since then, the royal pair remained happily married. It's safe to say that the former princess didn't really date around, because unlike most teenage girls, she already had her sights set on her Prince Charming. 4. She's never had a social media account. Most of the British royal family does not have their own personal social media account. And that includes Queen Elizabeth II. 5. She's never voted. According to Buckingham Palace protocol, Queen Elizabeth II must remain neutral on political matters and is unable to vote or stand for election. The rules for other members of the royal family are a bit less firm though. And members of the royal family close to the Queen do not exercise their right to vote, which includes Prince Charles, his sons, etc. This means that even as a princess, Queen Elizabeth II never made her ways to the voting polls. 6. She has never fed her dogs by herself. The royal corgis are famous for their fluffy faces and for having the most privileged life. Queen Elizabeth II has owned more than 30 corgis throughout her life, and all of them were gifted with a bespoke room, known as the Corgi Room. And with an elaborate menu just for them, a gourmet chef is the one responsible for feeding all the dogs. 7. Taken a selfie. It's against royal protocol to sign autographs or take selfies, meaning the Queen herself has never been in a selfie voluntarily. Of course, a few people have undoubtedly taken selfies with the Queen or other royals in the background. That doesn't really count. But with the youngest royals, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, set to grow up in the digital age, we wonder if this royal rule will change with the times. 8. She's never held a 9-to-5 job. Her Majesty has never had to work a typical 9-to-5 office job a day in her life. Even though being the Queen of England is a 24/7 job, it sure is worth it. Forbes estimated her net worth to be about $530 million back in 2016. 9. She never opened Christmas presents on morning. In most countries, the mornings of Christmas Day are reserved to open the most anticipated presents under the tree. But for the Queen, this is not the case. Since Victorian times, presents are opened on Christmas Eve at tea time, when all the family is reunited. 10. She has never shown affection in public. Kissing and hugging Prince Philip in public was something that Queen Elizabeth II always stayed away from, although they have been caught holding hands occasionally. The main rule she followed is to show zero PDA with her husband.